Hello, grade 7. Welcome to the second edition of Face to Face with Mr. Ross. I'm going to talk now a bit about comments and feedback from the landlady. I've read your foreshadowing and I've read your um, letter that Billy Weaver wrote. That's if you submitted it yesterday. And I'm going to talk to you now about foreshadowing here and what also could have appeared in Billy's letter. Um, Now, Billy's this story is like a masterstroke or a masterpiece in foreshadowing, which is, of course, hinting what comes later on in the story, giving the reader an indication, an idea, a suspicion that what could be occurring later on in the story. And I'm going to listen. I think that the foreshadowing task asks for 4 or 5 examples. Get ready for this one. 1. I noticed the sign in the window. Yes, I know. It's all ready for you, dear. What is all ready? Well, we'll come back to that. What could be all ready? Does she mean the bed? The room is ready? What is all ready? That's very weird. It's very strange that somebody would say that. Does she know that he's coming? Okay. Then he says that it's fantastically cheap. Why is it so cheap? Why is it less than half the price of the pub? What could that be indicating? Okay. There were no other hats or coats in the hall. Well, if it's so cheap, then why is it seems like no one else is staying there. Why would that be the case? It's a bed and breakfast. There's a sign outside that says bed and breakfast. No one else is there. And then Billy says, I thought you would be swamped with applicants. Well, she says, I'm inclined to just be a teeny weeny bit choosy in particular. Why would anybody care who stays at the bed and breakfast unless they look like they're possibly dangerous psychotic killer? Wouldn't you just accept almost the vast majority of people that are willing to pay to stay in the bed and breakfast? So that's very suspicious. And then she says, I'm ready for an acceptable young gentleman. Again, acceptable? Why does he need to be acceptable? This is a business. You would just want as many people to stay. If there's 4 bedrooms in the bed and breakfast, you want to get all 4 of them full every night to make money, wouldn't you? And then it says her blue eyes traveled slowly all the way up and down the length of Billy's body. Isn't that kind of creepy? What kind of person who owns runs a bed and breakfast is looking over up and down from the top to the bottom to the top, like she's evaluating him? Why? That seems to be also an indication of something. Then she says, we don't want to be breaking laws at this stage of the proceedings, do we? Maybe that means she's going to break laws at other stages of the proceedings. What would those laws be? But Billy, of course, is not seeing it that way. He's just saying, well, we don't want to break the law. But the key here is this stage of the proceedings. Well, there's another stage coming. A couple stages, I guess. Then we have these 2 missing boys. And they're somehow connected in Billy's mind. And he can't quite grasp how he knows them. And almost at that exact moment, she says, nice cup of tea? Almost as if she's trying to distract him or divert him from thinking about that. Why would she be doing that? Nice cup of tea? This is all kind of building up. We have the red fingernails. What does red usually symbolize? Blood, death, gore, violence. We have Mr. Mulholland on a walking tour. And then all of a sudden, this is what Billy says, she diverts again. Says it's lies. And then we have your tea's ready. Then he has Billy thinks it's a strange smell, the smell of a hospital. That's interesting. Why would it be smell of a hospital? What the scent of her, or is it some scent that could also be somewhere else in the house that smells like a hospital? So we're looking for little clues here and examples that lead us to where this story is going. Then we have these two missing boys are on the fourth floor together. What are two men, I guess one was 17, 18, one was 28. Why are they up on the fourth floor? Are they living with her? It's very odd that they would be up on the fourth floor when they checked into the bed and breakfast 2 years or 3 years ago. So at this point, you have to be wondering, I think, would you be wondering, this is getting crazy. This is nuts. But he's not, it doesn't seem like he's that concerned at this point. But yeah, if they were there 2 or 3 years ago, why would they live there? Do they have work there? Don't they have families? That's a very odd situation. Then she asks his age, and he says, 17, the perfect age. Perfect age for what? Again, isn't that odd? Who cares if he's 70 or 50? It's just a customer staying and paying money for her bed and breakfast. Then she said, oh, Mr. Temple, not a blemish on his body. How would she know that? Is she seen the naked body of her bed and breakfast guests? So how would she know that there wasn't a blemish on his body? Again, this is getting extremely creepy, a sense of foreboding. Billy, at this point, seems to be vaguely aware something is odd here. And then we get into the stuffed animals. They seem to be alive, and now they're stuffed. They once were alive. They died somehow, and now they are stuffed. An example of taxidermy, it's called. And is that a hint of anything that's going to happen? It says, I stuff all my little pets when they pass away. I wonder if someone else is going to pass away. Will you have another cup of tea? Why is she pushing tea on him? I guess in most cases, it's polite to offer somebody more tea, but she seems to be, you could say, it's an indication of something that she wants to offer him more tea. And then he says it tastes like bitter almond. He doesn't like the taste of, tastes like bitter almond. Why is that the case? What could be in the tea? Is something strange in the tea? Very possibly it could be. Then it says, oh, it's strange, she said. No guests in the last 2 or 3 years. It's cheap. And then she goes, only you. And that's the end. So I don't know about you. A few of you got this. But quite clearly in my mind, if you can guess what's going to happen here, is that she's insane. She's an insane, psychotic woman. She is poisoning Billy, and either the poison will kill him or she'll kill him when he's passed out, and he will become stuffed like one of the animals and like the two other boys, Mulholland and the other man, and be put up on the fourth floor where he will stay for however long this woman lives. And all these foreshadowing clues lead to that. It's cheap. Well, she has to get people to come in, but I would imagine that some of the people get the first few clues and perhaps leave before they drink the tea. So that maybe, or that possibly that the people who come in are not suitable enough. It seems like she prefers men. So if a couple comes in, maybe she rejects them. If women come in, it seems like that she would reject the landlady, reject them. But I guess she's looking for a certain type of man. I would guess that, like I said, people have come in, but quite realize this woman is nuts, and so then they leave fairly quickly. But not Billy. when he says it's all ready for you, already meaning, I think already foreshadows the poison that she's prepared, the tea. I'm inclined to be just a teeny weeny bit choosy. She likes boys. She likes young men. That's who she likes. An acceptable young gentleman. Somebody handsome and acceptable. That's what she likes. Notice that the boys they're sort of young men that she likes. Looking up and down. Remember that clue. Looking from top to bottom. She's evaluating who she's going to get, who she's going to kill and stuff. Like a prize trophy, like an animal that she sticks up. Breaking laws we don't want to break laws at this stage because she's going to break laws by poisoning him and killing him in the next stage. So all this, the missing boys, of course, the missing boys are boys that also visited her apartment, or sorry, her bed and breakfast, and ended up being poisoned and killed like he is about to be. These boys were listed as missing in the newspaper. Those are the boys. And so as we see your tea's ready, maybe the smell of a hospital. Maybe these are the tools she's going to use, and she's going to cut him up or stuff him and drain the blood out, and then who knows, but she's maybe got, hospital supplies and utensil whatever ready for what she's going to do to him. 17, the perfect age. Yeah, the age of the boys that she likes to kill. Not a blemish on his body. Yeah, because after he drank the tea and poisoned Mr. Temple, I guess she would have taken his clothes off and sees that he's got a blemish-free body. Because he killed her and stuffed her and stuffed him and stuck him up in this fur. I would say the foreshadowing of the animals because that's what happens to the men. Animals are killed and stuffed or whatever and made to look as if they were still alive and figures, and so are they. Like she says, I stuff all my pets when they pass away, just like Billy is going to pass away. And of course, like the bitter almond, it tastes like bitter almond because it's poison. So we see in this particular story a master stroke of using foreshadowing to lead us to the end. It doesn't even... The story, there's so much foreshadowing in a sense that the story doesn't need to continue because we know what's going to happen to Billy at this point. So I thought I'd just share those examples of foreshadowing with you. Thanks for doing your work, and I'll be looking forward to seeing some of these answers from Bolt that you've been working on. Goodbye for now.